right, the hotly anticipated FTR1200. This is not a cruiser, folks. The question is this the best American motorcycle being manufactured today? We will answer that question today. Already it feels great. Maybe it feels great because it's not a cruiser. I'm not really a cruiser guy. I am surprised at how far back these foot pegs are. They are way far back. Like, they feel like rear sets. Very sporty position in the legs, and yet the handlebars are really nice and high. So we've got modes here. We've got rain, standard, and sport. It is a little wet, so I'm going to keep it in standard right now. I'm not going to put it in rain because it's not wet enough, but there has been a little bit of a sprinkle. And we've got a nice gear indicator. You can see we're in third right now. We've got a fuel gauge. We've got a big speedo and a tack. We even have a compass. We are going southwest to west right now. Temperature gauge and odo. You are sitting way at the front of this bike here. And the brakes have a lot more bite than on the Cruiser Indians. But they should. I am sitting nice and high, 5'11 and a half, 32-inch inseam. My feet are flat on the ground, my knees slightly bent. The seat's a little squarish, which is comfortable while sitting with your feet up on the pegs, but when you put your legs down, the edges of the seat kind of go into your thighs a little bit. It feels very different from a cruiser. Very different. It is definitely a nice standard naked bike riding position. I'm way out in the wind. There's a slight bit of vibration through the seat, and I'm not sure if that's the engine. I'm in 5th gear right now, or if that's the rear tire, which is a little bit off-roady, so I'm not sure if that's where the vibration's coming from. You can cruise nicely in 6th gear, nice and easy, but if you put it into 4th here, it's got plenty of power. It jumps. Now we're talking 120 horsepower and 82 foot-pounds of torque at the crank. So that's probably over 100 at the rear wheel on a dyno. That might make this one of the most powerful American bikes, if not the most powerful American bike being mass-produced today. Now this one has the stock exhaust. That one has the Akrapovic. I think Akrapovic is stock on that particular one. This one sounds good, but the Akrapovic sounds better. Plenty of pickup. This bike has no problem getting up to speed. Now for a naked sport bike, it's not really it's supposed to be a flat tracker, but it certainly behaves like a naked sport bike. It's a bit on the hefty side. It's not the lightest bike around, but it doesn't have any problem getting going. The get up and go is good. Nice 4th gear roll on there. This bike will pass pretty much anything quickly and easily and with no drama. Self-canceling turn signal. Thank you very much. I like those. These bikes are styled really nicely. I don't imagine that a passenger, even though it has passenger pegs and sort of a passenger seat, I don't imagine that a passenger would be very comfortable in this thing. Just looking at that passenger seat over there on that one, I can just feel it straining at the leash in second gear here. It has a strong kick at even at 4,500 RPM. It kicks strong. That's a big engine down there, 1200 cc's. They're not kidding around, Indian isn't. You could do a lot of things on this bike. You could commute on it, you could just sport ride on it, ride through the canyons. You definitely can take it to the local coffee shop, park it, and people will admire it. It's a beautiful ride. Holds the line very nicely at speed. No problem whatsoever. You could take this out on a gravel road and bang around out there for a bit. Alright, let's see how it feels over these tracks. These aren't terribly bad, but I didn't lift myself up there, and I definitely felt like the suspension handled that duty very easily. It was butter smooth over those tracks. I'd love to take this out on some fast, twisty roads. This is the kind of bike that you want on nice, long, sweeping turns. It could do the super tight stuff too, but it's a little bit bigger than your small naked bikes, so that holds the line nicely. I'm gonna go single file here. Oh yeah, went right over those bumps, no problem. Keep it in third here. What a nice riding bike. It has a nice pleasant rumble to the V-twin. You definitely can tell there's a V-twin vibrating down there. It's not annoying at this speed. I don't know if at highway speeds it could become annoying. I know that some guys on YouTube have fitted this bike out to be more of a touring bike. I think you could definitely tour on this. It's got a comfortable seating position and a comfortable saddle, actually. I haven't commented on that yet, but it holds my butt nicely. The only thing that lets it down as a touring bike is it's a smaller fuel tank. I forget exactly how many liters, but it's not, the range isn't huge. Specs in the description. Other than that, yeah, you could put some luggage on this. Maybe a bit of a windscreen or fly screen. Keep the air off your chest and go touring. And when you get to a nice fast twisty road or a gravel road, there's going to be nothing holding you back. You can keep up with your sport bike friends on this if you're a good rider. So, America needed this bike. America needed a high-performance, fast, cool, naked motorcycle, something that isn't a cruiser, and something that competes with the Europeans and the Japanese. And Indian gave us this bike. Thank you, Indian. It is very refined, and yet it can be brutally fast when you put it above 5,000 RPM. It looks like red lines around 9,000, which for a big engine like this is plenty. I'm going to keep it in 4th gear here. Maybe even pop it down to 3rd. Yeah, the roll-on is there. That's torque, ladies and gentlemen. And the stock exhaust does sound good. It's not loud, but it's deep. I think deep trumps loud. I like a deep exhaust because it's not annoying to the neighbors, but it still sounds cool. I'd keep this pipe. Let's try sport mode, folks. I guess you can switch it on the fly. It's more jumpy in sport mode, less traction control. Unfortunately, we do have to do the ride at the pace of the group. But I can tell you this bike feels plenty entertaining, even in standard mode, never mind sport. And we're there. Yeah, I can see how this bike would encourage some foolishness. But I also would feel quite confident tossing it around. Like I said, it's not super light, it's not super flickable, but there's plenty of flick when you need it. And really, on the road, it'll pretty much do anything a sport bike will do. The only time this would fall behind some of the more sporty competition from Japan or from Europe is on the racetrack, and this is not really a bike meant for the racetrack, although you could definitely take it on the track. It's got plenty of power. Stick some sticky rubber on these wheels and off you go. One thing I noticed when I rolled the power on in first mostly, let's see if the same thing happens in second here. It's kind of surgy down low. It's not a terribly smooth power curve. I must say, the question was asked, is this the best American bike on the road today? The answer, I think, is a resounding yes I dub thee King of American Bikes, FTR. If I were to buy an American bike, this is the bike I would buy. Without a doubt. If I could only own one bike and it had to be American, you are looking at the bike I would purchase. Right here. And right over there. I'd probably get it in that color scheme. I like the white, black, and red a little bit better. White, black, and burgundy they call it, because the frame is nice and burgundy. So is this a naked sport bike? Is this a scrambler? It's kind of in between, and it's really made for a rider like myself who does ride a lot on gravel roads. Top of my cabin, I'm on gravel roads all the time. I've got a Moto Guzzi Stelvio adventure bike which handles them very nicely, but this bike would handle them quite nicely as well. So there it is, the Indian FTR1200, a beast of a bike. I love it. Without a doubt, the best American bike, the king of American bikes right now. The best performing and the most sporty of American bikes. So if you're into sporty riding and you want American, get yourself an Indian FTR1200. I would consider it, but I do. The only reason I wouldn't really consider it that much is because I tend to travel a lot and camp on my bike, and I need the big luggage options. And yeah, you could tour on this thing, but it's not really ideal for it. Beautiful bike, beautiful ride. Thank you, Indian. Guys, thank you for watching. Plenty of more bike reviews coming up, and plenty of more new exciting things on the channel. Going camping. Gonna be riding lots of cool roads, including some off-road stuff on my Moto Guzzi Stelvio. I'll be taking a big adventure bike off-road, see how that goes, and just generally having a good old time this summer. So keep on watching, subscribe, hit that bell to get notified when new videos come out. Keep that rubber side down, folks. May the spokes be with you.